Hi, this is Rick. I'm here in my studio, and you're visiting my YouTube channel, Rick Surowicz Watercolor. Once again this year, I decided to put together a series of holiday card videos that you can share with your friends and family. I post all the content on the project page of my website. If you go there, you'll find the links for the videos, links for the templates that I use for the cards, and reference photos of the cards themselves. And they're all 5 by 7 inches, and you can put those on a blank greeting card stock or just on regular watercolor paper, whatever you choose. And I hope you enjoy watching this series and enjoy painting them and sharing with your friends and family. This is Rick in the studio. I'm ready to begin this holiday painting here, this miniature holiday painting. And I'm using a template that I'm using for 2 different cards this year. And so this is the template you're looking at. You can find that on the project page of my website, and you can find a link to that in the description of this video. And I'm going to start by masking these little snowflakes I have in here off using this fine line masking bottle. You can use whatever works best for you. If you have this or one of the prefabbed ones you buy at the store, or you can dip into a nib or something, however you choose to make your marks with masking fluid. And if you don't like to work with masking fluid, you can just do some of this at the end with opaque paint, either gouache or a white ink or something. I like to stay transparent when I work with watercolor, so I choose to use masking fluid in this manner to get this effect. These are just kind of symbols of snowflakes. If you get big blobs, if you're using a bottle like this, you're probably squeezing too hard. I say this every time when I'm using this, because it just takes light pressure to keep fluid flowing into the nozzle. Then it kind of regs like a rolling pin almost. And then we got one over here. And I'll do the same here. It's kind of a small flake, so it's hard to get some of these marks to show. They kind of run together a little bit, but it'll be okay. So those are the marks that I'm going to make with the bottle here, the masking fluid, the fine tip, and I want to make sure I cap that as soon as I'm done with that. Now I'm going to take a toothbrush and I'm going to dip it in a jar and rub some of the excess off. You can squeeze it from a bottle, however works best. And I'm just going to pull back the bristles and let some of that fly to give me some texture here of snowflakes. And then I'm also going to tap it on my hand. Tapping it on my hand will give me bigger droplets. And if you get any kind of marks on here that you don't like, they're too big a droplet, all you have to do is wait for it to dry, and then you can just peel it off before you start to paint. That's the easiest way to deal with it. If you try and do it while it's wet, you're gonna have a mess on your hands. So a little bit on that tree. I probably have a little more than what I want down there, but I might lift a few off before I start to paint. And that's all there is to it. Now I'm just going to let that dry, and then I'll begin painting. This is Rick. I'm here in the studio, and my masking fluid has dried on this painting, and I've got this turned sideways, so I'm going to put in a light wash of some different values. And I want this to come down with gravity, and then when I turn it back up, it'll be a kind of a horizontal flow going across the sky. So I got to kind of hold this here so I can get it in the camera shot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with I'm going to be using some royal blue, and I want that to be grayed down just a little bit. So I'm going to take some orange over here. This is Halloween orange. Doesn't matter really what orange, or you can mix it. I want to gray this down a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a big wash brush here. I'm going to add a little water to it. Get more water. I'm going to get this kind of wet over here. And I'm going over top of this just far enough to go over the horizon line. And you'll see as this pans out while I'm doing that. I'm going to take a little of this mixture here that had some of that orange in it, just a little bit more. It grays things down because they're complements. I don't want too warm, but just a little bit of that in there, grays it down. I'll take some water. I want this to feel just like a cold winter sky. Now I'm going to add a little more of that royal blue. I want some darker mixture, a little more orange. I'm going to bring that in here. So this is all very wet. And a few touches here. Take some clear water and just, I don't want that hard edge in there because that'll show through my base wash. And now you can see a lot of water that I had on there. And I might actually go just a little more with the blue up here. So this has a little more of the leaning towards blue and not as much neutral. And that's probably enough for what I'm going to do there. And I do want to make sure that I get enough, or get around this snowflake, because it kind of blocks the brush strokes. I want to make sure I cover that. And another thing I'll do sometimes, I'll show it while I'm doing this. To soften edges or wash an area out, I'll take a fine mist spray. And I might just soften some areas. Just create some softer edges. So a lot of water on there. I wanted that just to be a just soft gradation of color or value. And I need to bring this all the way down here to the horizon line. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry that. And I'm going to turn this back right side up. Okay. So this is dry. I've turned it right side up and reframed it in here in a camera shot. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a number 6 round brush. I'm going to take the same mixture that I just used, but much darker. I'm going to add a little of this orange to gray it down a little. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to paint my tree shape in here. This is kind of a stereotype tree shape, I guess. So I have a bead of water here. I want to make sure that I have a leading edge. Let me add a little bit more. And now I actually want to get a little darker with that. A little more neutral. So I'll bring some darker value in. Now I'm going to bring that over here. Just paint this smaller tree shape. And now I'm going to get a bigger brush. So I've got a round wash brush here. I want to start at the base of this so I don't have any hard edges that start in there. Bring that here. And I'm going to let this lighten up a little bit. It's still going to be a fairly dark value, but just a little lighter. Now I'm going to add some water. To bring that down. Now I'm going to dry this. All right, that's dry. And as I look at that, I like it to be a little darker up here. I don't think I got it quite as dark as I'd like. So now I'm going to come back with a big wash brush. Go over top this a little bit. I want these snowflakes here to to show. So I need a little more contrast in that. So now I'm going to take clear water. So just a little darker, and I might just blot out a little of what I just put on there and make it even lighter over here. Okay, I think I'm happy with that, although I might get a little more around the snowflake. Okay, let's dry that. And then I'll take the masking fluid off. So that's dry. Now I'll take the masking fluid off of this. We can see our snow from the big flakes, and then the little the patterns are created by the splatter. And now if you see any marks once you take that off that you're not real happy with, you can just come in and touch it up. And I'd like to show a little bit more of this tree shape at the top, and I got a couple drops on there. So I'm just going to paint over those. And I might actually kind of like the effect of that. I'm going to just accent a few edges with just a little bit of paint. All right. So there we have it. There's just a little holiday painting. You know, pretty simple techniques used in this. The masking, putting a big wash over here, and then coming over with a kind of a flat wash on the tree, but gradating that as I come down to the ground, and then painting that with just a middle value, coming back, removing the masking fluid to reveal the snowflake. So I hope you enjoy that and have fun painting it.